We may be shocked or surprised by Thomas's response to the disciples when they told them that Jesus is risen from the dead and appeared to them. We might be wondering, how can he respond that way? Forget about, being with Jesus and listening to Jesus telling them that what would happen. But this is the group of people he's been with for about 3 years. Why wouldn't he believe them? But I think our first reason for thinking Thomas did not believe is because that Jesus rose from the dead. And that's, I think, one of those things that he doubted. But I think there was reason for his strong doubts about the resurrection of Christ. It's not just whether Jesus rose or not, but also what Jesus said to the disciples when he appeared to them the first time. The implication of the resurrection for him, for the disciples. A lot of times, we stop at that first question, did really Jesus rose from the dead? But we forget about what does that mean to us even today, 2,000 years later. As Catholic Christians, does the resurrection has an impact on us? Does it matter to us? Is it really relevant to us? And the answer to both is yes. First, let's talk about the resurrection. For us Catholics, we believe that resurrection is a historic event. It really happened. Jesus rose physically from the dead. It's not like a spiritual awakening of his disciples. Jesus truly rose from the dead. Because without the resurrection, if Jesus, being who he was, and ended up dying on the cross, and that was the end, being Christian does not make sense. And Paul tells us the same thing, because that makes Jesus just another person, maybe a teacher, a rabbi, a wise person, a good philosopher, a miracle worker, but then he ended up dying the worst kind of death, so why should we follow him? Without the resurrection, the message of Christ, his life, doesn't really make sense to us. He's just one other person in the history of the world that, maybe made a difference, was kind, was wise, but then that's it. Now, obviously, as you know, there's other theories, even at the time of Jesus, that somebody stole his body. Well, let's say whether it was the apostles who stole his body or not, a couple of things doesn't make sense. As we remember from last Sunday's Gospel, and in all the 4 Gospels, when they describe the empty tomb, they mentioned that the cloth that was wrapped around the body of Jesus was taken out and left in the tomb. Now, if you really want to steal the body of Jesus, why would anybody take the time to unwrap his body? And really, you want to carry his own body in your hands? It seems they just, steal the whole thing. Whether the disciples knew who stole Jesus, whether they stole the body or not, it wouldn't make sense for them to continue the message that we've been hearing about in that first reading in the Acts of the Apostles. If they knew this whole thing is a lie, then they'll go back to their own life and just move on. But they did not. They changed. They left their lives behind. And little by little came to understand the fullness of the resurrection and ended up dying and giving their lives for what they believed. Now, who would go so far with a lie? And for what reason? It's not like they established mega churches and became rich and powerful in Rome or in Alexandria or in Jerusalem. All they received was suffering and pain, throwing in jail and family death. That doesn't make sense. As we read and listen to the first readings during this Easter season, that's the proof for us that Jesus truly rose from the dead. Because his disciples kept persistently proclaiming that message and ended up giving up their lives. So the resurrection of Christ is a historical event. If Jesus did not rise from the dead, then really we have no business in being Christians. And we're ready to accept that. Say, well, yes, of course I believe Jesus rose from the dead. But I think where we fall short and we become like Thomas and begin to doubt is in the second part of the resurrection. What's the words of Jesus when he first appeared to his disciples? Peace be with you. He didn't chastise them. He didn't question them. He didn't make them feel guilty or ashamed. How did you do this to me? Didn't I tell you? He didn't make them make penance. He greets them with peace. And not just he greets them with peace, but he gives them a mission. As the Father has sent me, I send you. I give you the power to forgive sins, to reconcile people. The implication of the resurrection for us is that the message of Christ, the message of love and mercy and forgiveness, the message of peace did win at the end. And that's what Jesus sent the disciples to proclaim. And that's why when he rose, he didn't change his message. He didn't turn to being kind of violent and condemn them and said, well, forget you, I'm going to go find another new group of disciples. He showed them what he gave his life for. Divine mercy and forgiveness. Peace. As the Father has sent me, I send you. And that's what they did. They didn't come back with vengeance and, formed an army and fought the Romans or the religious authorities of their time. They came and proclaimed mercy, forgiveness. They talked to the people, and although they said, you're the ones who condemned Christ, but all you have to do is come back to him now, ask for forgiveness, and you will receive eternal life. They didn't fight back with power. They didn't fight back with lies and deceit. They stuck to the truth until they died too, like their master. That's what the resurrection implies for us. That just like Jesus sent out his first disciples, he's sending each one of us to be his messenger of mercy, of compassion, of love, of forgiveness in the world today. And do we need the world? Does it need messengers of mercy today? Of course, the world does need us. But a lot of times as a church, we stay behind those locked doors, busy with our internal workings, what's going on with us. Dealing with our own sins, rather than fulfilling the message that Jesus gave us. Go out to the whole world and be my messengers of mercy. Bring reconciliation, not because you're perfect. That first group of church, they were not perfect. But Jesus did not care about what they have done. Because remember on the cross he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That's what we're called to do this today. That's what we're called to be, the messengers of God's mercy and forgiveness in the world. Not just by going to the sacrament of reconciliation, but by taking that peace and that mercy to others, to those who offended us, to those who have hurt us. To show mercy and not retaliate with whatever they use against us. And that's what the world is doing. And we as disciples of Christ sit back, still afraid, still behind locked doors. You heard yesterday about the shooting in the synagogue in San Diego. Last Sunday, the shooting in the churches in Sri Lanka. A few months ago, a few weeks ago, the shooting of the mosque in New Zealand. 6 months ago to this day, the shooting in the synagogue in Pittsburgh. Do you think the world needs more violence or needs more mercy? When are we going to rise up and like the disciples break through those closed doors and go to the world and proclaim the message? First, violence entered into our schools and we did nothing. Now it's coming to our places of worship and we're still doing nothing. Are we willing to put our lives on the front lines to end this cycle of violence before it consumes us and everyone? Are we willing to go out and be the messengers of mercy and proclaim another way, another vision, a kingdom built on love and compassion and forgiveness, reconciliation, unity rather than separation? When are you willing to say yes to Christ's message, as the Father has sent me, I send you? The divine mercy that God the Father has shown each one of us is not something given to us so we just can keep it to ourselves. It's a gift given to us so we can share it with the world, so we can transform the world. So this world will become the kingdom that Jesus preached about and talked about, that vision that he gave us. Today we are reminded of that invitation. As the Father has sent me, I send you. Are we willing to say yes?